Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the DashCast. Today's guest is MatMart.
aka the one, the only, the Pokeball.
Exactly.
I got nothing.
That was kind of dumb, I'll be honest. Um, although that
Yeah,
does,
what
although that does help tie into my first question. But first, before we get to that, I'm actually gonna ask, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I haven't done anything today because last night I literally couldn't sleep. I just tried to sleep, I couldn't. So yeah, I just slept in the middle of the day, which is always bad, but like, what can I do?
I know how you feel. There will be times, like every day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start sleeping at like 2 or 3 p.m., no later. And then I always, by the time I get to bed, it's like 4 p.m. I'm like, God damn it. It's just, there's just like, every time I'm about to go to bed, something happens, and I'm like, oh, I have to say something, or I have to do something, It just, bleh. But yeah, I understand what you mean. So anyways, the first question I have for you is just simply, so your first name, which you kind of hinted at earlier, was Pokemaster Matt. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Is there a story behind that name? Is there a reason that was your name?
Okay, so I think the first time I ever used the Pokemaster Matt name was on Minecraft. So I essentially had like the Minecraft pigment skin with like a Pokemon hat. That was my first skin, right?
Yeah, I saw that. I
And
saw that in I saw that in one of the thumbnails of one of those older videos. I forgot.
yeah,
I think it was like titled like the end of Pokemaster
yeah,
Matt or something.
yeah. I just put my old profile pic, which I had for several years.
Ah, okay. Um, yeah. What? So, did you? Is there a story behind how you came up with it, or is it just, oh, I?
I genuinely can't remember how I specifically came up with Pokemaster Matt. What I can think of is that I liked playing Pokemon like Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, and I'm like, okay, I want to be Pokemaster Matt. The channel, there's some unlisted Pokemon Showdown and an entire Fire Red Nuzlocke, so like that partly also explains the name. Like Pokemon was one of the main games of the channel, but I only kept my first video pretty much,
Oh,
which is the
really?
Minecraft one.
Huh. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's yeah. See, I thought from looking at your channel that you were mainly a Minecraft channel prior to starting GD and not a Pokemon channel.
yeah, it was
Like I
okay.
figured because like there's some channels that like their names are like have nothing to do, like Popular Mimos. Popular Mimos mainly played Minecraft, which isn't an MMO. So
Yeah.
his name didn't really make sense. But you never changed it. So I thought maybe the same was true for your name. Guess not. Um. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. If I had to say it, my channel back then was probably like 70%, okay, no, 60% Minecraft, 35% Pokemon stuff, and probably like the other 5%, let me think. What other games did I play? It was like 5% random games and I guess old GD content, which is, I don't have good GD content that's old, but like, yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to bet I could guess who it is. Is it just like, oh, I beat this level?
It's worse in some ways. Let's just say that.
Really?
Have you ever seen the Geometry Dash Hunger Games? That might actually be public on my channel still. It
I
is one
think
of my
so.
worst videos ever. Like, oh my god.
Okay, funny thing, I actually did make a GD Hunger Games video, and did you use a website generator thing?
I used the website generator and put like a bunch of popular people's names in it.
That's exactly what I did. Except for me, what I
Yeah.
did, I'm actually quite proud of mine. Not because of, oh, look, you see, I got to use popular names for clickbait. No, it was more of just because I just put a lot of effort into the editing, and I felt like I did a really good job for the editing to make it funny. And I still think it's one of my better videos because I genuinely had fun coming up with stupid animations I could add to uh to go along with whatever was happening.
Yeah, I did not do good with editing. I'm just gonna say that. It's just me talking for like 40 minutes, and then the thumbnail is like some default thing I got from Google, and it's like featuring Riot, Trusta, Guitar Hero Styles, and Funny Game, and whatever the fuck. So like, yeah.
I
Uh,
honestly expected you to say that you didn't even have thumbnails yet, so you were like, oh, so I just picked this part where it says that this person died.
nah,
Because
man. I at
honestly,
least copy pasted it from Google Images. Let's go.
honestly, that's arguably worse. But hold on.
Yeah. I'm not proud of any of my content pre like May 2020.
Is there a reason for that, or is it just, oh, it was bad?
There's only like okay, all my content pre like that era is bad, obviously. But for MatMart, the MatMart channel itself, there's like 2 videos or 3 videos that I made during the MatMart era, which I don't like still, which would be the first episode of the GD documentary. Let me think, the Bismuth video, and actually those are probably the only two. I think I like everything else.
Wait, but
Yeah.
she only brought up one video from the MatMart era.
Oh no, I said GD doc episode 1 and the Bismuth video.
Oh, I thought you were saying GD episode 1 was the Bismuth video. I was like, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah,
more
no, they're
sense.
different.
Makes more sense. Okay. So, you did end up changing your name to MatMart. Was there a reason for that? Was it just simply because, oh, I didn't like my old name? Or was there a different reason for it?
Okay, so transitioning into the modern era, let me think. I changed the name to like MatMart. Like near the time I started making GD content, right? The name Pokemaster Matt no longer made sense to me. It was like why am I still called Pokemaster Matt if I'm gonna be making like GD content, right?
Yeah.
So, with that name change in mind, I decided to I looked at the most popular YouTubers, right? And I noticed that their names tended to be very like catchy, right? So the main name that I'd say inspired the name MatMart would be PewDiePie. If you look at it's a very good wordplay in my opinion. The die and pie, it's like the same word that rhymes, but they have two different first
First
letters.
letters,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So PewDiePie ends up being like pretty fun to say. So that's when I was like, okay, what extra word can I add to Matt that's still pretty good? And I'm like, okay, Matt Mart. You know what I mean? I thought it was pretty catchy.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, like, half the people that I've talked to, like, it's either, oh, I found this name in a book, and, oh, it's just my name. Or it's, so you see, I had this backstory where, see, so I got traumatized as a kid by this thing, and I wanted to name my channel off of it. Or it's, oh, you see, I liked this name, so I came up with this genius name to parody it. And I'm just sitting here like, my name is a ripoff of Dan TDM. Like,
Yeah,
like this is just
Jordan TRS.
like all of these freaking interviews have gotten me to realize how lame my name is. But like, I'm too lazy to come up with a new name. I just suck with names. Like, it's just it can be really hard to come up with a name, and
I mean,
I don't think
yeah.
that's just a me problem. I feel like a lot of people have the issue. But yeah, um, so you did bring up how prior to MatMart era, you did make GD videos. How did you discover GD? Was it through school?
Yeah, it was through school.
I can't think of a single person so far who hasn't said through school. Uh, is there a
Yeah.
story behind it, or is it just school?
Pretty much two of my friends in my after school were like not good at GD, obviously, but they were like trying to beat Jumper, and they were both trying to beat Jumper, and they were like kind of competing with each other, right? So they didn't really let me like play on their phone or anything. They gave me like one attempt on Jumper, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of lame, right? So when I went back home, I decided that I was gonna try to beat Jumper before they beat Jumper, and I think I beat like the first few levels in the like light version the first day, probably like up to dry out. And yeah, I mean, I got really quickly better than them. Like I started beating like demons on their phone and things like that. So yeah, it was back in Geometry Dash Update 1.9, like pretty early.
Okay, my question now is, did you end up being Jumper before them?
I can't be 100% sure because like I know there's just days where I didn't see them in after school. So I know I beat a demon before them, but Jumper, I'm not sure.
Damn. I,
Jumper probably took me like at most 2 or 3 days. So there's a very small like window of like for them to beat it unless they were like tryharding. So I don't know, man. Maybe.
I mean, considering the fact that you said that you're indicating they weren't very good, I find it hard to believe that they would have try-harded Jumper if they were bad. Um,
Yeah, there's a good shot that I beat it before them.
okay, so you brought up that there were a few videos that you originally made that you privated. or unlisted. Are there any of those you'd like to talk about or bring up?
Okay. Let me think. Unlisted. Well, I mean, it's over 250 of them. I can't think of any of them that are like special that I
Jesus
unlisted.
Christ.
I kept the ones that like I found like historically significant to my channel, like my first video to hit over 1,000 views, which was my Clash Royale video, and also
Your
my first
general first
video,
video, right?
and yeah, my actual first video, and then the video transitioning between the two eras, like the end of Pokemaster Mats.
That's fair. Fair. I personally, I agree. Like, here's the thing. There's a few videos I know I wish I could. There was a part of me that was like, oh, I wish I could private these. Like, there's this one video of me playing Riddle Transfer 2, and it's cringy, but it was my first video to get quote unquote big. It hit like 4K views, so I felt obligated to keep it up on my channel. And at this point, I can't even do anything about it. But I understand where you're coming from. It makes sense to keep big channel milestones up like that, no matter how bad they are, because they are still a part of your journey, I guess, your career, your I can't think of a better word for it.
Yeah,
You
for
get
sure.
what I'm
That's
saying.
the idea.
Yeah. So, there are a few series on your channel. So I want to start talking about those. Firstly, you brought up the GD documentary series. Uh, was that inspired by anyone? Because I'm only I can think of someone who might have inspired it.
So each of those individual videos are tend to follow a far different style from the previous one. If I had to name one person who specifically inspired everything, there was this documentary on the Super Smash Brothers Melee, a 9-part documentary called the Smash Brothers documentary, and each episode sort of focused on a different player. So coming with that in mind, I had the idea to make a Geometry Dash documentary going on each of the different eras, focusing like somewhat on a specific player. Now, the obvious examples of people, okay, I can just name everyone who's going to be like the main 9, let's say. It was going to be like Darnock, Cyclic, Riot, Viperin, Rob Top, Michigan, Guitar Hero Styles, Noble Boy, and I think Serponge. I think those were the main 9.
All right. Honestly, I was expecting to say like C because, especially when
Oh,
he
I mean, C, yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, C, of course, influenced me to, like, C definitely helped with a lot of, like, the research, but, like, the overall series idea was honestly meant to be more of, like, a counter to C. I don't think that C's content is, like, the best. This is not to, like, insult him or anything. Even he'll say his content is kind of primitive, edited in, like, Windows Movie Maker or whatever. So,
which I personally think is impressive. I find it impressive that he could make, actually pretty good, like good videos in terms of Movie Maker. Like I've used Movie Maker before, and genuinely, I could not tell he used Movie Maker until I found out he used Movie Maker when he brought it up on like Twitter or something, and I was like, what? I genuinely could not tell. It did not feel like it was in Movie Maker.
Yeah, that's true. I can't say I would have been able to make videos of the same quality in Movie Maker. That being said, the first episode, the editing guideline I set for myself was to make a video that I thought would be better than the average C video, which I think I succeeded in. Despite that, I still don't really like the first episode due to certain like editing mistakes. But yeah, it
Actually,
was a solid start.
actually that just made me think of a new question. Editing mistakes. Have you made any, and are there any that you're especially uh, disappointed in? I guess.
I mean, disappointed. Like, not really. Like, for editing mistakes, it just doesn't happen in most of my modern videos. The farthest back I could think of an editing mistake that, okay, no, there is one editing mistake that especially just completely killed my motivation at the time. So, for 3 videos in a row, that being documentary episode 3, the Impossible Levels documentary, and the Tiny Levels documentary, I had actually made it so that the audio only played in the left ear. Now, I didn't notice this because my headphones were broken at the time and they only played through one ear anyway. So I'm like, okay, that's how it should normally sound. But for some reason, my editor made it so that automatically all of those videos only played through one audio track. Now, I actually made the decision to unlist those videos and then publish new ones, which at the time killed off like half my channel views. It was only 400. I knew I would get bigger eventually, so that's why I just decided to pull the plug here as fast as possible. The only trace of that that's left on my modern channel is that in documentary episode 3, there's still like a 1 minute segment between minute 22 and like 23 or something that still has like that editing error, but it's very unnoticeable and it's only the background music. So it's like it's not that much. And oh yeah, there's also that 1 year audio error in a part of Battle of the Shades, which is also one background music track and still hardly noticeable unless you really pay attention.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's
Honest.
like those are the crippling editing mistakes. And then there's a few like voice glitches in episode 1, but apart from that, like I can't think of any editing mistakes.
Yeah, I was curious because I know I've made my fair share of editing mistakes. Like, there's this one video I made on reading GD reviews, and there's two episodes I made. One, I made like the initial video that I made a sequel. In the sequel, I had a few other people voice parts for me, read some reviews for me. I used VideoPad at the time, and it allowed for different timelines, and you could like overlap them, and like you can in like most other programs. However, the weird thing about it is that like if you have nothing on a timeline, like there's no video on it, like in a specific segment, you put it on top of another timeline, instead of appearing transparent, it would appear black. But if there's an image there, even if it's invisible, it will be transparent. So, the problem was at this one part, I have like a clapping emoji appear every couple seconds, and I had that on a separate timeline because I had each segment of the video in a separate timeline. However, I forgot to put images to make it transparent, so there's just black screens that appear between each clap emoji, and I didn't notice until it was premiering. And like the worst part is this is back before I really had much confidence. And like Husey was there. I don't know why, but he was at the premiere. So when that happened, I was like, "Oh no!" Oh, like I felt so like upset with myself because I was like, "Oh my god, I just embarrassed myself in front of Husey. I am a disappointment to humanity. I suck at editing." Thankfully, I don't think anyone really noticed. Uh, but it's still something that really bugs me because it wasn't even that hard of an issue to fix. It was just I was stupid and forgot to fix something. Um,
Yeah, for sure. These days, like I look at my videos literally over like 2 or 3 times to notice any mistakes. Like and like I do pretty much everything to avoid making a single mistake because I know that now once I post a video, it gets so much initial traction that if I repost it, like that video's dead. It's gone. So like I need to make the first try perfect.
yeah, and that's fair. For me, currently, like I didn't really have that problem before, like, because I never really got that many views. Um, consistently. Like, sure, like I would hit like 100 views, over 100 views per video, but it wasn't like 1,000 views per video or 10,000 views per video. Like it's rare for a video to hit over 10,000 views, and that was typically only my best videos, which I was happy with, and um, so I didn't really have that, but I still kind of felt it because it was more of a. It wasn't more so a I could fix it later thing. It was more so of a well. I don't want to lose the initial comments. So, I just I just remembered another error. Okay. I'll tell you about that one after the interview though. I feel like I don't want to make this all about me. I want to keep it about you since, you're the one I'm interviewing.
All right, all
You're the
right.
guest, yeah. Um so one of the things that you're most known for in my opinion is the hardcore challenge.
Oh yeah.
How did you come up with that? Because honestly, that's actually a really cool concept.
Okay, so I was watching like let me think. I thought of like how like Dream only dies like once in a manhunt, right? And that's what makes it intense. Like if he dies once, he loses, right? Like that's what makes the manhunt intense. And it's also that he's being chased down by his friends, right? But regardless, the way I primarily came up with the series is obviously through Minecraft Hardcore, the Minecraft Hardcore Challenge. So like things like the Philza death video and videos like that definitely it was like a no-brainer for me to just combine it into GD. And I already knew that I could beat many levels on my first attempt of trying because as I said in the video, I've had many GD accounts. So I've beaten certain levels probably like up to 10, 20 times.
Yeah, actually, um, I know I've beaten the Rob top level several times myself, and I kind of figured that the hardcore challenge is based on Minecraft simply because of the fact that in the thumbnail you used the Minecraft hardcore heart, and
Yeah.
also just the fact that hardcore mode is associated with Minecraft so much. Because I can't personally really think of any other game that uses a hardcore mode and calls it hardcore mode. Like, sure, there are other
Yeah, me
really hard
neither.
modes, but they're not usually called hardcore. They're usually called like expert mode or impossible mode, not hardcore mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of figured this from Minecraft. What would you say is your favorite video that you've made, or the video you're
Okay.
most proud of?
Yeah, easily. Okay, actually not easily. I have like three videos that I rank at the very top. Those videos would be probably my worst levels documentary, my I survived 100 2.2 recent levels, and the hardcore roulette. Those are like my best videos on my channel, like probably like what I consider like the tens of my channel. Out of them, probably surviving 100 2.2 levels is my favorite because it feels like a like journey. So does hardcore roulette also feels like a journey, but 2.2 100 levels feels like a fulfilling journey, which is what I like about it.
All right, that makes sense. For me, I focus more on the editing. Like the videos I'm the most proud of are the ones that took me a while, the ones that I put the most effort into. Not so much the ones that are like emotionally investing or anything. It's more so the ones that took me like. If you've listened before, you know I've brought up like my Killbot Requiem documentary as being one of my favorites, alongside like I even bring up like the Hunger Games video or even Butiti to Rewind. Although I don't really like that very much, I do think it's one of my better videos, and that's mainly just because of how long they took. Like the Killbot Requiem one, I did research for over for like around a year, mainly because some of the people I had to contact were kind of hard to find. It's because like a lot of them are just left the community. Like one of them apparently had like gone to like some like Air Force college or some shit. So it was like nearly impossible to contact them. So it was just really hard to do that. And that's probably the reason why I was so proud of it, because it just took me so long and it was just really satisfying to see it finally complete. Um Although I can see how you would how you'd view your proudest the way you do. Because some people view it as terms of like how proud am I of how proud am I of me making the video versus how proud am I of the finished product,
Okay.
if that
Yeah.
makes any
I mean,
sense.
okay. This is just because like they had a fulfilling story doesn't mean that they didn't take a lot of
I'm not saying that.
hours
I'm not
to
saying. Don't
film.
worry. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, from what I can tell from you, you're mainly saying like, um, at least what I'm gathering is that it was more based on just I'm. There's nothing wrong with saying that a video took long to make, and there's nothing wrong with saying it didn't take very long to make. I'm just gathering from here like you're saying that the finished product's what you're most proud of, whereas me, I'm more proud of like the journey it took to make the finished product. If that makes any sense.
I
Does that
get
make
that.
sense? Yeah. Okay. Uh, I feel like I worded that kind of poorly. Um, this kind of ties into the next question, which will be the next question, so you'll hear it later. But uh, I've seen several people say that you're like the next big GD YouTuber, or that you are the next big GD YouTuber. Do you personally think you deserve that kind of praise, or do you think you're overrated?
Hell yeah, dude. I deserve all the praise. Let's go. All right, so look, I'm gonna say this. All right, I genuinely, okay, genuinely, hmm, I'm gonna try to word this without sounding super egotistical, but
Yeah,
like
I was about to
I
say,
put
like, you sound kind of egotistical. You might want to
I
word that
put a
differently.
ton of effort into my content. I don't think people like kind of get how much like intricacies go into like parts of the editing. Like straight up, if an image fades in, you could probably count the exact amount of frames that it takes to fade out. They sync perfectly. Like if it does like 12 frame fade in, it'll do a 12 frame fade out. Like that's how like precise I try to make my editing. And even if it sounds like, oh, egotistical if I say I'm the next big GD YouTuber, like who else would be the next big GD YouTuber? If I didn't make content that I thought wasn't worthy of being like the next big GD YouTuber, I wouldn't say it. But like genuinely out of everyone who makes videos, I I personally find my own videos to be my favorite things to watch. This isn't to call other creators bad. It's just obviously videos that I make are more home to my own tastes. It's what I would want to see for GD.
Which that makes sense. It's your videos. You know, a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something a lot of people don't do. They tend to make videos that they think others will enjoy versus videos they think they'd enjoy, which is more what I focus on. I want to make videos that I can look back on and be like, oh, I enjoyed watching this, which I have done before. There have been several times where I'll like go back through my videos and watch a few of them because I just want to, and that's probably something I want to aim to do. I do also want people to enjoy my videos, but for me, it's more so of a if I enjoy the video, then others will enjoy the video. If you don't enjoy the video, then I'm very clearly not the person for you. And it's weird because it's like you can put all this precise stuff in your videos, but if no one notices it, then was it really worth it? Because no one's gonna notice. Like, what's the difference between a 15 frame fade in and a 20 frame fade in? Most people won't notice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. But it's like I sort of notice those things. So I am like, I guess I'm my own worst critic. That's the best thing I could say.
Okay,
Like
that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, that's fair. That
it's fair
was
to say that my content, I make it more from like I'm not saying okay, I like make it partially for myself. Like there's certain things I do which I really don't have to do. Like I don't but like I do it because I think that'll make it the highest quality it can be. And once I post it, I can't like re-edit it. So I'm like, I might as well do that now.
all right. Um, I know for me, I tend to do similar things. Although I try to be more. I don't tend to say that I'll be the next big YouTuber. I try to just say that I want to be a big YouTuber. Like, I feel like I'm just more so, like way less, um, I don't know how to, I don't know what to say. It's like egotistical isn't the word for it. It's more like, uh,
Confident?
yeah, self-confident. Because you're like very self-confident. You're like, yeah, I deserve this. I am really good at this. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm good, but I mean, I think some other people are probably better than me. And, like, I don't really understand why people watch me. Like, it's weird. It's like a thing where it's like, I feel like I do deserve this. I mean, like, some of my most popular videos have hit over 100,000 views, and people have told me I edit really well. But on the other hand, I'm like, do I really deserve this? So
Yeah.
you're more of the really confident person. I'm more of like the less confident guy, if that makes any sense.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think I deserve it until I actually become the next biggest GD YouTuber. That's what I'm gonna say.
Um,
Until I've worked enough to get to that goal, I don't deserve it.
hmm, I will say that brings up another question. To you, what exactly does it mean to be the next big GD YouTuber? Does that mean hitting a specific sub milestone or something, or what does it mean?
My goal is 100% to eventually get more subs than Guitar Hero Styles. As impossible as that sounds, that is one of my goals. It's definitely a far off goal.
Yeah, I'll be
Let me think.
honest.
Early,
I'll be honest. I don't think that's happening because
yeah,
it's sort of like
it's
trying
really
to
far off.
it's sort of like trying to overtake PewDiePie. Like it's pretty much impossible. Like you literally have to be like a giant company to even have a chance.
Now, obviously, there are smaller goals I have, like becoming the biggest English channel or whatever, right? Um, let me think though. Like, when I started, my primary goal was like out subbing everyone else in my genre. Like, if I got more subs like in a month than like Norkborg or Alfred's, then I consider that a win.
So you're more so
As
you're
you
more
can tell, I'm definitely one of the more competitive
Yeah, I was about to
types.
say for me, I know I'm definitely more of the I just want to be successful on my own kind of thing. I don't compare myself to others very much. I'm more so of just I want to be able to make videos for a living. I don't care if I have 10,000 subscribers or a million subscribers. As long as I can make a stable income from YouTube, then I'm happy. Like sure, it'd be great
Hmm.
to, get more money because that just means, just in case something goes wrong, I have, a safety net because which would you rather have? If your channel just got deleted, would you rather have $1,000 in your bank account or $1 million in your bank account to fall back on? Probably the $1 million because that means you have more money you can work with as you're trying to find a new job or something. Which,
Nah, man, I
you know,
prefer the
eh,
$1,000 personally, dude. The $1,000, I just invest that all into Doge and I make back 1 billion, dude. Easy.
if you had the 1 million, you could invest that and become literally the richest person on the planet.
Except I would become lazy and complacent and not invest in Doge. Not financial advice.
Okay.
Bro, nah, I'm trolling. Of course I take the million.
Okay. That took a weird turn, I will
Nah,
say.
dude, I make a lot of jokes that people don't get, obviously. I don't know, man.
I make genuinely my type of jokes are like the yo mama jokes. Although for me, I don't make it because I think others will find it funny. I make them because I know people won't find it funny. So then I can laugh when they're like, "Are you serious?" Because I just find me acting like that funny. Although I can get why people might find me annoying by doing stuff like that. Although it's because it's fair. They see me as just making terrible jokes and laughing at them. Although for me, I'm like, I'm not laughing at the joke. I'm laughing at people's reactions to the joke. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm more of like a like 5 layers of irony kind of guy.
I mean, I can understand that irony is don't I don't want to say useful because that's not really uh, relevant. It can be humorous, I guess. I'm not sure how else to word it. Um, because
Yeah,
I
it
know
can be funny.
I know that Nepesta uses a lot of satire and irony, like a lot of sarcasm. Sarcasm is the word I was looking for, not satire. Um, Sarcasm and irony he uses a lot, and I find him really funny. Um, so that's just something I feel like more people need to do. Like I really don't like when people just like GD Twitter. I feel like has some really bad sense of humor. Like they're all focused on yes, ratioing is funny, and pretending to leak someone's IP is funny, and harassment's funny, and this and that. And I'm like, that's not funny. It's really not. Like you're joking about really stupid shit. Like, look, I might like making little mama jokes, but that's not funny. Humor is subjective, but some things shouldn't be joked about. Is what I'm saying.
For me, yeah, for me it 100% depends on the context because obviously like a ratio, let's say like oh you're like really proud of a video you released and then someone's like ratio, like that's obviously like a bad thing to do. But for example, like Rob Top ratioing random people on Twitter with like jokes, like
Well,
that's
that's funny.
perfectly fine in my book.
That's funny, but
Like yeah.
I'm more so talking about just the stuff where it's like completely uncalled for. Like you're minding your own business. All of a sudden, someone just says ratio. Like it's just annoying. Not funny, especially when you're the one being hit with it. If it's something like if it's something like this guy's acting stupid or something like that, then I'm fine with it. But otherwise, I just don't really like it.
Yeah. Like for me though, like what's to determine whether or not someone is acting dumb, and also like let me think with ratioing regarding I think you react to it too much. Like I if I get ratioed, which I have, like I don't really care that much, dude. Like I don't really react to stuff like that because like it's just someone getting more likes on a specific reply on a specific site on a specific like post. I don't know, man. Like I think you're putting too much significance to them, and if you like react negatively to everything, people are just gonna like troll you just for your reaction.
I get that. I guess it's just for me because I have, very little self-esteem like I brought up earlier. So stuff like that cuts a lot deeper than it would for someone like you who has a lot of confidence and, has a high self-esteem, which isn't a bad thing. Let me say having high self-esteem is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because it means you're more confident in, who you are and you think highly of yourself, which is not always a bad thing. I would prefer to have a higher self-esteem than a super low self-esteem. Um, but yeah, I just feel like people need to. I'm making this about myself again, aren't I? Damn
That's
it.
all right. It's all right.
I mean, I have to stretch this to the hour mark, so doing that is good. So would you say YouTube is something you want to do for a living, or
Oh
is
yeah,
there
for
other
sure.
things you?
I'm 1 million% trying to dodge college. Like
I mean, I
one
am too.
million.
Although at this point, I feel like it might be unavoidable considering the fact that I essentially have to start from scratch again with a year left of
Yeah.
school.
I don't know, man.
I don't think I'm gonna get monetized and earn like $100, at least $100 monthly in a less than a year. I don't think that's happening. I'll be honest. I'd have to get super lucky, and I don't think that's happening. I could make the best content ever, but I still don't think it's happening.
For me, it's less about luck and more about you just got to research the algorithm if you really want to be like grow fast. It's pretty hard though. I'm not gonna lie. Starting off, even though I did kind of know the algorithm starting off, like you might not believe this, but the first time one of my GD like MatMart era videos hit like 1K views was on like September 2020, and that's like 8 months after I started. 1K, and that was on like the Battle of the Shades doc. I want to say.
Hmm.
So, oh, that's actually okay. I'm just gonna say this little thing. I was actually gonna be a Minecraft content creator. After making the Battle of the Shades doc, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of done with GD. This game is like, I feel like I have no new ideas left for Geometry Dash, and I think it'd be better if I went to Minecraft, blew up, and then returned to GD with like a new audience, right? However, I made the two Minecraft videos, like two of them that are now privated, primarily because they have copyrighted music, not because I don't like the videos.
Uh,
Um, but because I made those two Minecraft videos, they got significantly less views than my GD videos. So I'm like, okay, maybe GD is the best route. And then I saw the Battle of the Shades video hit 1K, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try my hand at going back to GD and using all my algorithm tricks. Instead of using my algorithm tricks on Minecraft, I'm gonna use them on GD. And that's when I released a Cold Sweat level review, which blew up. Then Gunslingo, which blew up. And then pretty much a ton of my videos, pretty much like every month after that has been like positive growth correlation until like June or something. So it's been pretty good.
yo, you should teach me those tricks after the podcast.
Yeah,
Um,
man, you're on the Geo network. We got a ton of algorithm tips.
sure. I don't really talk in many Discord servers though. I'll be honest. Like, I'm in like fifth.
You could just look at the tips and conversations. They've got a
True.
lot of stuff there.
Um, so this kind of ties into what we just said, but what would you say is the most important part of growing and in this part maintaining a YouTube channel? I feel like that's the more important question here. Maintaining a channel. It can be.
Okay,
I feel like it's easier to grow a channel than it is to maintain it because I've seen
that's facts.
so many
Yeah.
channels. Like I'd even say Juniper. Like Juniper was really big, and then like if you notice her videos have started to decline a bit. Like they used to hit like 1 million views all every single time, but now some of them aren't even hitting 100K, which viewing it is sad because I feel like she does deserve, a pretty decent audience, but it's just a fact of life. It happens. Sometimes people just don't want to watch you anymore.
Okay, so like look, I've researched a ton of people's channels, and I can usually say why their content isn't doing as good as their content before. But I'm gonna answer your question first. The most important part about maintaining your channel is easily your morale and your like how you feel about like the content you're making overall, or just how you feel about life in general, right? Like if there's a day where I'm like eating bad or I don't exercise, I'm like, oh damn, I feel like shit. I don't want to edit, right? But like usually you want to make the surrounding factors in your life so good that you're like, yeah, I'm hyped at it. I want to like get this subscriber goal. You know what I mean? It's like it's also not about like overworking yourself. You don't want to do that. But you don't want to like you also don't want to be like, oh man, dude, 20 minutes of editing, dude. I've overworked myself. Like, nah, dude. Like you just gotta have really it's hard to say, but you just overall have to be hype about what you're doing and just don't get depressed. I mean, like it's hard to say, man. There's so much like intricacies that go into keeping your morale afloat, but like keeping yourself maintained is the best way to keep your channel maintained, in my opinion.
That makes sense. Although, I feel like personally, I feel like it's more so a content thing because from what I've observed, it feels like certain channels, like you could be like at the top of your game, but sometimes someone will make content that people think is better, and they'll start watching them instead. And it's not your fault. It's just you know.
Okay, at that point, that's about about growth, in my opinion. Because like, okay, even though most of my videos get like more individual like views than like you said, like a Juniper video or an Apesta video, I only released them like once or twice. No, I only released like it like once a month, and that's like bad. I don't think I'm good at maintaining my channel whatsoever. If I posted these videos at a more frequent rate, I think that would be crazy good. I don't think I. Luckily, let me think. I've gotten an editor, so things are gonna get faster, and I'm still refining all of my videos with like tons of edits to make sure that it stays unique to my style, and my subs don't really notice anything.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. You have to be original at the same time staying, you know, true to what content you've previously made. It's a hard balance to maintain. I know that personally. Um, it can be really tricky.
Yeah, if I just made highlights, I would not like feel fulfilled with my content because it's what a ton of other people are doing. There's like no demand. Well, there is demand in the market for it, but like, man, someone else can demand it. All the other like 20 people trying to get into the stream highlight market, not me.
Hmm. So, are there any like projects you've had in mind, but you haven't, ended up going through with them, like canceled videos or anything like that?
Yeah. So like I said, the Geometry Dash documentary episode 1 was pretty bad, but episode 2 and 3 were amazing. Amazing videos. Some of the best on my channel, especially for when I made them with my current editing skills at the time. They told a good story, and it was overall my plan for the ideal Geometry Dash video. However, episode 4 was specifically a major hurdle because not only was I trying to once again best myself in terms of editing, let me think. That was like during January 2020. But it was also a 30-minute video. I had to tell one of the most important stories in GD history. I felt like a ton of pressure with like everything I had to say and do and edit. And even though some of the segments that I got done were like really good, like I got the first minute and a half done, and it's probably the one of the best minute and a halves ever of like a MatMart video that's unreleased. But like I just couldn't do it. I cannot finish episode 4, and there's a surprising amount of demand for episode 4, but I just can't do it. And my overall plan for the Geometry Dash documentary is when I get bigger once again, I'm going to uh make it even better than before. One of the upcoming documentaries on my channel, I'm not going to say specifically what it's on, but the style of it is meant to be, it's going to be, I think, one of the best documentaries, if not the best documentary ever made in GD history. Like you'll see the style of it and it'll be really new and fresh for the GD community. That's what I'm primarily going to say. And then the Geometry Dash documentary will be that, but in a better style. Like maybe if I wanted to go like all out, I'd start like a Kickstarter or something and get like custom music and stuff like that and visuals. But yeah, that's the plan for the GD doc overall.
Hmm.
It's coming, just not now. And the first 3 episodes are going to be revived because they need work on them.
All right. So, all right. Do you have any like future projects in mind? Like any future videos or like maybe a new channel or anything like that?
I mean, most people don't know about my second channel, MatMart More, which will probably be converted into a shorts channel because currently it's sort of like a Dream XD type channel where I just kind of post whatever I want. But the second channel will probably have a lot more stuff on it soon. It's at like 1K already, which is pretty surprising because I've hardly promoted it. And okay, yeah, okay. As for future videos, Hardcore is getting a lot more installments with separate and fresh ideas. I don't want the series to run dry at all, which is why I don't think I've ever posted 2 hardcore videos in a row. And there's also the fact that every hardcore I want to do, I want to make it like significantly different from the other one. So the example of a hardcore video that's not the original that blew up is Hardcore Roulette, which is me playing through a ton of randomized levels. I can't die once, but I have to hit 30 stars. And that challenge is extremely difficult. Like it's crazy because I only get to look at a video. And from a video, there's a lot of things you can't tell. Sometimes a level has like a 144 hertz bug or it has like a disgusting timing either way. And it's just overall like Geometry Dash is a game. You're gonna die in it. But can I hit 30 stars before dying? Well, who knows? And there's a ton of other ideas like that for hardcore. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's pretty obvious from one of my community posts, but one of the featured like sort of documentaries, not the big documentary I'm talking about, but one of the feature documentaries is what is the best level in Geometry Dash, which is like a counter to the worst level in Geometry Dash. Like instead of looking at Troll Face Lol or some trash level, like I'm looking at the best levels like Sky Tower or How, let's say.
Or Future Funk.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the no, no.
I
um,
despise you now.
Future Funk, okay, it's not like a 30 out of 30. It's like a 26 or something. That's good. It's a good level. It's a really good level, but it's not one of the best. Absolutely not. Like, can you really tell me that Future Funk is as good as like Sky Tower? Come on.
Dude, you're talking to the guy who's beaten Future Funk 100 times on stream.
You beat it 100 times?
Yeah,
Jesus,
in a
that is
week.
another level of dedication.
Yeah, trust me, I love Future Funk. It is my favorite level
I'm
in the
like
game.
that. I'm like that, but with map pack 3, 4, 5, 16, and 17. Those little things, so much every level there individually like 30 times. Okay. On a stream where I was streaming hardcore sometime in March, I beat like 5 demon packs in a row until I died in Crescendo, which really sucked, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, wasn't that to Oh no, not Crescendo. I was thinking of the first Extreme Demon, not Extreme Demon, the first hardcore challenge. I'm an idiot.
That was in I died to Dorbe difficult
Yeah,
4.
it was a bug. I remember.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely one of my more cringe deaths. Let me think though. Yeah. For the future hardcore sequel, which is it's pretty obvious what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to actually beat the standards that I set in the first hardcore challenge, which at first were just like random numbers that I kind of chose because of whatever. But now it's like, I could actually do that if I really planned for it and I was extremely precise.
Hmm.
So that's the idea.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. That I'll be honest, that was a bit of a train wreck. We were all over the place. Um, but I hope it's gonna be at least somewhat enjoyable for people. Uh, but
I don't see
I'm
why it wouldn't be. You guys had me on this show, so
I mean, I guess.
I'm
Um,
literally the best YouTuber ever. Come on, man.
and I obviously am the greatest player in the GD community ever. Very clearly.
True.
Can't you tell? I mean, I've beaten
I could tell
Diligence.
you beat Future Funk 100
Yeah,
times.
and I beat Diligence. Diligence is impossible. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
It's so hard that they refuse to put it on the silent list because they just refuse to accept the fact it's so hard. But
Well,
yeah,
so easy, but
anyways, sarcasm aside, thank you all for watching.